Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. I just thought for a change today I'd share an Easter craft activity idea with you if you want to have a go at doing one at home. So today I'm going to have a look at doing an Easter wreath showing the Easter story. So I've had a good route around my house this morning to see what bits and pieces I could find. So if you can't find the exact things I've got, just improvise, use your own, you can print things off. But I'm just going to talk through you what I've done and the idea I found. So the first thing you're going to need is a wreath shape. Now you can find a bit of card at home, an empty cereal box, whatever you might have hanging around, as long as your parents say it's okay to use it. Then you can use a plate to draw around your circle shape, and then a small one for the middle. You'll probably need a grown-up's help to cut the middle bit out because it can be a bit tricky and fiddly. So then when you've got your shape like this, you might notice just at the top there's like a little hole so that when we finish we can hang it on your bedroom window maybe, or wherever you like to around your house to decorate your house ready for Easter. So the next thing you're going to need after you've done this is you're going to need to cut out some little palm leaves. Now, as you don't you can see the colour very well on my screen, but it's a nice green colour. You might not have green card or paper around. You could just have any material. You could use felt or foam, whatever you've got, or if you've just got white paper, you could draw your leaves and colour them in and then cut them out. But you are going to need quite a few because the first thing you're going to do once you've cut your leaves out is to attach them all around the wreath. Okay, so it's all covered up. Now here comes the Blue Peter moment. Look, are you ready? Here's one I made earlier. So once you've cut out all your palm leaves, you can just stick them round your wreath like so. Now, if you don't want to waste time fiddling cutting lots of leaves out, you could just paint the background green because as we stick the other things on, it will cover the green, so you won't see as much of this by the time you're finished anyway. So that's your choice, it's up to you. It's probably easier at this bit to use paper than felt because when you're sticking your other things on, it's easier to stick on if it's just paper. Okay, now I've got to make sure I get this in the right order now. So the next thing we're going to stick on is the first part of our story, which is when Jesus entered Jerusalem riding on a donkey, his entry into Jerusalem. So again, you can improvise, you can cut pictures off the internet if you want to print some pictures off, or you could have a go at doing what I've done. Please excuse my picture, it was very quickly done, of it's Jesus on his donkey. Don't know if you can see that very well. Okay, so you can have a go at drawing it. I love seeing kids drawing, so if you want to have a go at drawing Jesus on a donkey yourself, and then Jesus is you're going to stick him at the top like this. Okay, so now I've done a practice run of this, so I just hope it's going to work as I go along. So I've got my trusty glue, as you can probably tell by my hands, because my hands are covered in sticky patches where I've already glued some things this morning already. So he is going to go towards the top here. Okay, so that's the first part of our Easter story. And then we're going to have a couple of leaves. Okay, you could do one or two depending on how much space you've got. I've drawn some of my paper ones, but then I've stuck them onto a bit of darker green background. You could just use dark green leaves if you want for your palm leaves. And we're going to stick one or two, depending again on space. And we're going to stick a couple on there like that. So if you just bear with me a second while I stick it on and hope that this glue works. So yeah, you can improvise with whatever you've got around the house, because I'm aware that not everybody's got a house full of craft things like I tend to have. So whatever you've got, whatever you can use, again, you can draw pictures yourselves and colour them in, or you can print things off the internet quite easily. I'm sure your grown-ups will help you do that. So there's our little Palm Sunday. Then the next thing that we're going to stick on is we're going to think about the next part of the story when Jesus has his last meal with his special friends, the Last Supper. And what I've done for this, using a bit of felt again, I've cut out a little chalice. Excuse, I'm sure you can do a much better job. And a loaf of bread. helping us again to remember the Last Supper, the last meal that Jesus shared with his disciples before he was arrested. So we're going to stick those on to our next part of our wreath. I'm just hoping I'm leaving enough space for everything. And if not, I'll have to record this video all over again. So there you go. Just sticking however you want to. You can spend time spreading it out to make sure it all fits before you do it, if you like. Okay, then the next part of the story is, well, for our wreath purposes, when Jesus goes out into the garden to pray to his Father in heaven, to ask him for his help. And he asks him, doesn't he, has it really got to happen this way? So I've drawn some praying hands there. Okay, again, you can adapt that. You could even take a photo of you praying and stick it on there, maybe. Or you can print a picture of just whatever you think will represent Jesus going into the garden to pray to his Father. And so I'm just going to pop those on there. Now, the next thing I'm going to stick on is quite a big part of it, so it's going to fill the bottom part. And I'm going to draw the next part of the stories after Jesus was arrested and put on trial. He died on the cross, didn't he? So I've drawn the little hill. I've cut out with some felt the little hill and the crosses, the two crosses either side of Jesus, representing the thieves that were also on the cross with Jesus. And I'm going to stick that across the bottom. Now I might have to fiddle about here and move my hands a bit so I can fit this on. So just bear with me one sec. I could pause the video, I suppose, but this is a very first practice for me doing this video, so I don't want to undo things that I don't know if they're going to work again. So there we go. I've just squished them in on there, and the hands just over there as well. You'll probably be able to see a lot clearer when you come to do your own. Okay, now this is coming up this time of year, isn't it? This time next week, we'll be thinking about this on Good Friday when Jesus died on that cross, taking all our punishment for us so that we could be friends with God again. And although it's called Good Friday, we wonder why it's called good sometimes, because it is a bit of a sad time, but actually it's good because of what Jesus did for us and what it meant for us. And we know that the story didn't end there, didn't we? We know that Jesus didn't stay dead. Okay. His body was put into a tomb when he died, and he came off the cross. They took him down off the cross. They put him into a tomb. So there's my little tomb. You can do your own tomb, however you want to do it. You might want to be a bit more creative than I am. I'm sure all your wonderful pictures would be really, really good at this point too. So there's my tomb. Now I'm finding that some of my pictures might be a bit bigger than I thought they were going to be. So they're all quite squished together. So you don't really see a lot of the palm leaves. So maybe you might just want to do the back painted green. It's totally up to you. Or you can make your pictures a bit smaller, whichever. Now the next thing we know, don't we? The really amazing thing, and that's really good news for us as well, is that Jesus didn't stay dead. This is the empty tomb because Jesus came alive again, didn't he? He beat death. He overcame death. And he went to be with his Father in heaven. Now, you can do different things here. I've done a couple of clouds representing the sky and heaven. You could do some angel wings, or you could do a picture of Jesus floating as though he's rising up to heaven. It's totally up to you what you want to do here, but I've just for a bit more ease today, I've just done a couple of clouds there. So I'm going to stick those on as well. Sorry, I keep turning my back to you. I should really have had a table in front, really, shouldn't I? Okay, so there's my little clouds there. Okay. Oops, is it going to stay? You can draw an outline on your clouds, too, to make them stand out a bit more if you want. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I've got little sort of egg-shaped or oval-shaped discs here with the different parts of the story. So it's back to front probably for you, but this one says Journey into Jerusalem. And I'm going to stick that right by Jesus up here somewhere. Okay, so the different parts of the story. Okay, so Journey into Jerusalem. So I'm going to stick that on there. Then the next one says Palm Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that on my palms just to help me remember what the different parts of the story represent. Then I've got the Last Supper. So I'm going to put that. I might need to spread these out a bit, or when you come to do yours, you might want to spread them out a little bit more, so it's a bit more, you've got a bit more room. Jesus prays. Then Jesus dies on the cross. Jesus is resurrected. He came back to life, didn't he? That's for the empty tomb one. And then the last one, Jesus ascends to heaven. So he went back to heaven to be with his Father in heaven. And there you go. So mine might look a bit squashed up, but I'm sure you can plan yours out a bit more and spread it out. So there's what we've done for an Easter craft idea today. Again, I apologise that the writing might be back to front for you guys, but I'm sure your grown-ups will help you work out what that's supposed to say. I never thought of that when I was doing this. And then finally, if you get a bit of string in that hole that we had right at the start, that hopefully is still there, not covered up too much by all your palm leaves and pictures, you can just thread a piece of string or ribbon, whatever you've got hanging around, and then just tie a little knot in the top, and then you've got your lovely Easter wreath that you can hang up that remind you of the Easter story. I hope you have fun doing that, guys. I hope you can find lots of different bits around the house. Enjoy, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.